All right, good evening, everybody. Today is Thursday, April 3rd, and this is the Teaching and Learning Committee meeting for the School District of Waukesha Board of Education. Can I verify that the meeting's been properly posted?
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to start tonight looking for approval of the Teaching and Learning minutes from the March 4th meeting.
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. Next, we have an opportunity for public comment. Did anyone sign up to speak tonight?
No.
Okay, thank you. First order of business tonight is discussion and possible action on an update to Board Policy 5430, class rank. Mrs. Getterman.
Good evening. I have some friends joining us at Teaching and Learning. We don't want to always keep it to Teaching and Learning, so I like to invite other people in. Last month, Mr. Schloman was here to talk about this policy. He just happened to be in the room. But as we talk about this policy, we wanted to bring forward, Ms. Ryan is coming back to talk about it, but also Mr. Leonard, who's the Director of Student Services, because really it's a student services and teaching and learning collaborative effort around making all these things come together for this policy. So both of them are here tonight. I'll show the policy up on the screens. But overall, what we have done is just taken some feedback from the last conversation, made some edits. And so the team is here to walk through some of those specifics.
Good evening. We took what we had discussed last month and tried to put it into the draft here. So the changes that we made were the fourth paragraph that I think it had said a statement, a further statement. We actually specified administrative guidelines 5430 there. And then we listed what the guidelines includes. And then we tried to condense underneath F, we tried to condense that kind of repetitive part that we discussed quite a bit last time. And we took a real close look at the law, the state law, and the state law really indicated to us that we have to not only notify students in the top 5 and top 10%, but also has to be indicated on the top of their, on their transcript. So we worded that one, once the class rank is established for students completing second semester of 11th grade, the superintendent shall notify each student ranked in the top 5% and the top 10% of the class, and shall note the ranking on the student's transcript at the completion of 11th grade. Then grade point averages are used for those. And we did not change the end paragraph. I believe those are the changes we had discussed. A couple things to go along with that is I do believe you have the administrative guidelines with you, and that is in more detail of how each of those items are calculated into grade point average. That's stated in the administrative guideline. And we also are working on a draft of what the communication would look like that's going to be sent home to all junior families at the completion of junior year.
In addition to some of the setup in Infinite Campus, so that it does show on the transcripts too. So we've been doing some behind the scenes work in preparation of these notifications and information on the transcript.
Yeah, so it's really just a matter of checking a box that we don't have checked right now in Infinite Campus that will show top 20%, top 10%. So it's just turning that on. Did I miss anything?
Any questions? I do appreciate you guys taking another look at this. I think it's actually, even though there's a lot of color on the page right now, it's actually become more brief and therefore more specific, so I think it's better. Any concerns? This is kind of our third time around, I think, so I'm not seeing any more questions at this point.
All right. So it is listed as possible action if the team is ready.
Okay, I'm ready. If someone wants to take action, we would need a motion.
I motion to approve the update to Board Policy 5430, class rank as presented.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. Anything else? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't know if I want to stick here another.
And thank you to the team, too. It's been a cross-department effort in getting all those things set up, including technology. So everyone's done a really good job collaborating to plan for this to move forward. So thank you.
Maybe give the feedback back to our legislature that something so simple, you know, how many hours of effort and meetings and things that it's taken to actually put all that together, but glad that we got our arms around it. Thank you. Looks like they're staying for the next topic. All right, we'll move on to the next topic, which is discussion and possible action on update to Board Policy 2271.01, the Start College Now program.
So this is the first time we're bringing this policy here tonight. It already previously went to the policy committee, but these recommended changes from Neola are in here. They are minor, but we do want to just highlight a few pieces within here as far as their language with payment and that sort of thing. So I have it up here on the screen, and again, this is a team effort. Stacy's also involved in some of the work here. To make this really happen as we support the kids with this, their work they do beyond, in regards to this policy. So Laura, do you want to, I have it here highlighted, but overall, there's minimal changes in this. I think one of the biggest things we always work to clarify is the payment. Do you want to?
Yeah, I think the first page is really just some wording. We just kind of got rid of some repetitive wording again. And then on the second page, instructional costs in addition to tuition, that we are now paying the course fees in addition to the books as part of the state statute when they attend a technical college. I think that's the only change that we had.
We've been doing that. It's just that we hadn't had it worded that way in our policy. So Neola suggested that we add that in. But it's not new in our practice.
Mr. Zenobia?
Thank you. What is the fee? I'm assuming the parents are notified, obviously, that this could happen, and probably not many kids take a college course and then fail it, but maybe it happens on occasion. It does, okay. But they're notified and of what the cost will be and going in.
Yeah, so there's a whole approval process. When the students want to apply for a class, that they go to their counselor, they get the application, they apply, and it has to be turned in to Stacy, really. It has to have a parent signature on it, and it has everything laid out, like, you know, we will cover the cost of the tuition, course fees. If, however, your student is dropped from the class or fails the class, you are responsible for it. So it's all laid out, and we've actually added kind of a double signature this year to make sure that is being seen by all.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know that it needs to be in this policy, but I think as we communicate to families about how students are eligible for these types of opportunities, one thing that's actually come up directed to me in the past is concern for the content of some of the courses that students are taking. And we don't have control, just like in many cases, at least we can tailor the AP stuff as long as we're meeting the standards, but when we're essentially outsourcing these courses to a higher higher education institution. It's really not something that's in our control. So is there an escalation process, or are they recognized as students where any concerns or grievances or things that they may have with that particular institution can go through that institution?
Everything has to go through the institution, not through us, because they are then really a student of theirs. And so I think that's why we really encourage the parents to be part of the application process, so they are aware of the course and the content that the student is taking.
That's all I had. I don't have any concerns with the changes to the policy. Does anybody else?
I motion to approve the update to board policy, I can see, 2271.01, Start College Now program.
Second. Second.
Thank you. I don't
Thank
think
you.
there's Any more questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes 5-0. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is discussion and possible action on an update to Board Policy 2270, Religion in the Classroom.
I'm on my own for this one now.
No help.
So this policy, there are minimal changes, but the policy is revised to add language citations that reflect the annual notice requirements in the law. So you'll see here, most of the first page is white, just a few tweaks with the green changes as far as the minor student. And then on the second page, again, the parent and student piece statement right there has been added, and again, citation to the law.
I have just one, and it's more of a readability thing for me that I wanted to point out and see if others found maybe also problematic. And I think there's maybe an easy fix, but I want to make sure I'm understanding it the right way. So I'm looking at the edited section at the bottom of page 1. And it's towards that very last sentence where I understand the clarification is trying to say, like, a parent and a student may not have the same religious beliefs. And so it could be a student saying that there's a conflict, or the parent saying collectively that there's a conflict. But as I read through it, it says the school will honor a written request for the parent's child to be excused. I think that needs to read, the school will honor a parent's written request for the student to be excused. Because even if the parent and student don't share the same religious beliefs, that would be up to the parent to determine whether the child should be excused from that content. Does that make sense? Because the way I read it right now would suggest that a minor student could opt themselves out of content. So I'm just suggesting that last part say, the school will honor a parent's written request for their student to be excused. I don't know if anybody else has thoughts about that, or whether that improves it or not. Or if that meets the spirit of what we're trying to accomplish here.
I believe it does.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Mr. Zenobia?
Yes, I would like to motion to approve the amendment to Board Policy 2270, Religion in the Curriculum, as amended.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, passes 5-0. We're moving on to our content areas, and we have one requested action item tonight, which is regarding the Spanish resource.
Hello. Want me to airdrop?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So Dee Garcia is here again to just have a follow-up conversation regarding the Spanish resources. She and the team have been working hard to not only evaluate different resources, but negotiate. That's been one of our key skills lately, is negotiating with vendors and tech supply companies, just to see if we can get the best rate. So Dee will share a little bit more with you.
Well, good evening, everyone. Tonight is the action on the Spanish World Language Resource. I wanted just to represent the final recommendation that we have and just refresh your memories about the budget, and also respond to Ms. Kozlowski's request for some data in eAchieve. So as you might recall, last time we were here, the team was recommending that we move forward with the adoption of Reporteros, which is a Spanish 1 through 4 resource. It is a resource that is currently adopted and annually renewed in eAchieve. Then we were recommending Generación AP, who is also made from the same publisher for the Spanish language and culture course. And then Azulejo is something that we already are using. It is one of just 2 resources out in the community for the Spanish literature advanced placement class. We just need additional copies, and it hadn't come before you before. The rationale for the curriculum adoption is that we have had to pretty much build your own curricular resource, very difficult to implement. We've had massive shifts in both pedagogy, but especially in tech integration. And it's just outpaced the resource that we have in place. There's concern around scope and sequence, especially as we're getting new staff in and having to deal with navigating curriculum that they were not a part of creating. And finally, we have different shifts in student enrollment and want to make sure we're providing students with the best possible opportunity for language acquisition, not just learning about a language. This is the data that we got from eAchieve. This is their first year of implementation. As you can see, they have several students enrolled, and their average grade point average in the classes are as follows. In Spanish 1, 73% of students are earning a B or above in Spanish 1 using this resource. Spanish 2, 83%, Spanish 3, 91%, and Spanish 4, 100%. There is an advanced placement Spanish language class that is also underway, and 67% of those 5 students are getting a B or above. So overall, we think this is a good indicator that students are finding success with this resource. What we did not find in our actual implementation in our classrooms was a lot of success with our Spanish levels 3 and 4, just because the scope and sequence is so much more rigorous at levels 1 and 2. So our recommendation is as follows. We are proposing a 7-year adoption with a fold-in of a 6-year and a 5-year by level. What we would like, and that would be detailed by the data below, for the 25-26 school year, we would move forward with a 7-year adoption of Spanish 1 and 2, and AP and AP5 and AP6 resources. We would fold in then the Spanish 3 resources in the next year once students were more acquainted with the rigor of the materials, and then fold in Spanish 4 the 3rd year, so that we'd be in a full implementation year in the 27-28 school year, and then we'd be looking at revision in the 28-29 school year. With that comes a class set of 5 textbooks per building. We would be moving to an all-digital format to really leverage our Waukesha One initiative. We will get 6 hours of direct PD, but several hours of more consultation, and all teachers would receive paper and digital teachers' editions for their use in preparation. And with that, we will be providing some curriculum design opportunities as well as some professional development. This summer, we have several dates on the calendar to create our course outlines to ensure that we have a very well-articulated scope and sequence. We want to get the syllabus in place. We will be determining common assessments and utilizing the rubrics from the resources. We have a need to update the targets for each of these courses by course. And we want to make sure, obviously, that Blackboard Ultra is in place so that parents and students have access to their resources at any time. We'll have about 5 teachers come together over 2 days to do this work. And as you can see, the budget is on the page at $2720. For year 1, our onboarding looks like 6 hours of explicit professional development, 3 hours on how to use the resource, and then office hours throughout the school year, getting additional dipsticks in how to really utilize the digital resources for differentiation, which is one of the key elements of this opportunity. this resource. We also have the third and fourth Mondays, especially at the high school level, to be able to work with world language teachers on a more consistent basis, just to gauge how they are utilizing the resource, if they need additional coaching or support from our coordinator, et cetera. In year 2 and beyond, we will focus on new teacher PD for any new teachers that are hired, and just ongoing professional development that is available through their teacher preparation portal. We will be bringing some of those videos and resources into Space and Blackboard for our teachers to continue to get professional learning. We will be looking at additional department time next summer, if needed, and through Winter Institute, but we're coming in at a total cost of $1,120 for the professional development, mainly going to hourly pay for teachers. So we've got some discussion and action.
Questions or comments?
Did you enjoy the resource?
See,
Sí, muy bien. Muy excelente. I just want to mention, I did spend several hours this weekend on looking through all three. This took me back to my minor in college. Whoa, bless the hearts of those kids who can get through this. But I really did enjoy the Reporteros resource. It was very well done. I can see why it had such a favorable result when
Yeah.
the teachers that used it. Very organized, very sequential. I love the way that it follows the 6 or 7 kids through their different countries. I could see why the kids connected to this. It was really obvious. Great resource, very, developmental, very organized. I can see why this would be a hit. I did enjoy the online resources, and then I also looked at the Generación AP. I felt that one was also very strong. And I only had that digitally, but I
Yep.
thought the website was easy to navigate. Things were easy to click, it was easy to follow, so I can see why this was a big hit with the majority of the teachers who piloted it. So, yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I think it's a wonderful resource, actually.
Thank you.
we were fortunate to have Mrs. Koenig be able to take a little bit deeper dive. I capped out at Spanish 3 in high school, so I did my best. But I did appreciate the flow of things, and I think the color coding and the structure of the resource looks like it's very logical, which is a good thing for language development.
Thank you,
So
yeah.
I appreciated that, too. It's quite a bit of work that you all have put into this, so.
Indeed, thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I like Dr. Piasek said. I think this took me back to my Spanish college days. I can still read it and understand it, but I can't speak a lick of it anymore. I really appreciate you putting together the eAchieve data. That was something that I know a couple of us had some questions that we're just curious about. Do you know roughly how many of the eAchieve students who are enrolled in our Spanish courses are second language learners or dual enrolled in?
Almost all of them are learning Spanish as a foreign language, yeah. We have very few, like, dual language students that go through eAchieve. Sometimes they will if they have a course conflict, but it's rare because they usually start out with AP Spanish as freshmen, and
Sure.
freshmen have to be on campus and have very few course interactions that would keep them from being able to take a class, but it's possible.
Okay.
I would say if this resource is approved, what it does allow us is for more collaboration with eAchieve, and that's something we've been working on this whole year, is aligning our curriculum resources with eAchieve. So they had purchased this, and so they have a 1 year, and so what we would do is just fold that into this, and then as we get up for a renewal, then we can have that conversation again. But we're meeting with eAchieve to have those conversations with each curriculum resource. This is just one that's a really nice example right now because they had just purchased this, which kind of helped influence, our work here. But when at all possible, we want to be aligned and on the same, professional development needs and that sort of thing. So we can collaborate a bit more together.
I think that's a huge strength and an opportunity for us to do more of, not just in Spanish, but other languages too, and other, even, some of the advanced or specialty courses where we might not have enough students in a brick and mortar classroom, but we have curriculum and we have teachers available. So I think it's a really good opportunity to start to align those. And I'll be very curious to see how that plays out for us here. Anything else? All right. Who's next? Mrs. Koenig?
Okay, I motion to approve the Spanish World Language Resources as requested and presented.
Second.
Thank you. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. I was going to try to say that in
Yes,
Spanish,
thank you
but I
very
couldn't pull it
much.
off, so.
Our teachers and students will thank you for the next 8 years.
Thank you so much.
7 years.
Thanks
Well
for
done.
putting this
Yeah,
together.
yeah, thank you.
All right. That concludes our business for tonight. Are there any suggestions for topics for future meetings? All right. Well, our next meeting is here in the boardroom on, what did we say, Mr. Zenobia? Tuesday, May 6th? All right. Well, have a good night, everybody. Thank you.